Hello, my friends. Welcome back to The Human Soul with Dr. Regina Johnson. Today, I would like to ask you a question. Yeah, it's not going to be a question about your career, not a question about your family. I promise you that I'm not going to be nosy. It's not going to be a question about your impressive accomplishments. It's a much deeper question that I have. And I hope that you are open and honest with me. Who are you when everything you depend on to define yourself is taken away? Take a moment and think about it. If your job disappeared tomorrow, if your children grew up and no longer need you, if your health in a very unexpected way changed, if your life, your income, your social status, or even your possessions were gone in a very unexpected way. How about if your marriage is no longer there? If your husband just walks away and leaves you alone? Who would you be if your partner decides that he or she is no longer going to be there? Most of us spend our lives answering the question, what do you do? But very few people ever stop to ask, who am I? As a psychotherapist, I have met people whose identity was built everything on success. I have seen people committed with success and people that wants to show it off. And when they lost their career, they felt they had lost themselves. I have met parents whose entire identity revolved around raising their own children. And when the children left home, they wondered what purpose remained. I have sat with veterans who struggle after leaving military service because the uniform had become part of their identity. And once the uniform was no longer there, they didn't know who they were or what they were supposed to do with their own lives. I have spoken with patients whose illness changed everything they thought life would be. And I have learned something that continues to shape the way I understand the human soul. What can be taken away from you? Whenever it is, it was never meant to be the foundation of your own identity. Psychology teaches us that identity is formed through relationships, experiences, beliefs, memories, and the stories we tell ourselves. When those stories become too dependent on performance or approval, we become absolutely vulnerable. If success defines us, failure destroys us. If other people's opinion define us, rejection crushes us. If our possessions define us, loss leaves us feeling totally lost and totally empty. The human soul longs for something more stable than circumstances. Spirituality, we find a powerful reminder in the words of Jesus. What does it profit a person to gain the whole world yet lose their own soul? That question is just as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago. Our culture often encourages us to build impressive lives. We go online and we try our best to show a life that many of us do not have. Many of us are selling fantasy. But we also need to build our inner life, a life rooted in character rather than image, in compassion rather than comparison, in purpose rather than popularity. Think about a tree. What gives a tree strength during a storm? Not its branches, not its leaves, its roots. When the wind comes, the roots determine whether the tree stands or falls. Wow, the same true is for you and I. The storms of life reveals what our souls are rooted in. None of us can control the storm. Yes, you and I, storms are going to come against us in a very unexpected way. But here is something I have witnessed over and over. People who know who they are can survive circumstances that would otherwise break them. Not because they never feel pain, not because they never grieve, but because their identity is anchored in something deeper than changing circumstances. So, how do we strengthen the soul? I have a few suggestions that I would like to share with you. First, spend time in honest reflection. Don't be afraid to ask yourself tough questions. Ask yourself, what do I believe about myself? Where did those beliefs come from? Are they true? Second, invest in your character more than what you are investing in your image. People may admire your accomplishments. That's not the question. Your accomplishments, they are important. But those who love you will remember your kindness, your integrity, and the way you made them feel. The third thing that I want to challenge you to think. Learn to be comfortable with silence. I know that we live in a noisy world. There is constant notifications, constant entertainment, constant comparison. Yet, many of the most important truths about ourselves are discovered in quiet moments. Finally, remember that you're worthy is not something you earned. It is something you possess simply because you are a human being created with dignity and purpose. No title can increase it. No failure can erase it. No mistakes can cancel it. Absolutely not. Before we finish today, I would like to leave you with one more question. If everything that identified you to the world totally disappears, what would remain? Spend some time with that question this week. Yeah, take time, think about it. You may discover that your deepest identity has been there all along, waiting to be recognized. Thank you for joining me today. And if this conversation encouraged you, I invite you to subscribe and become part of our growing community. Each week, we will explore the intersection of psychology, faith, resiliency, and the human soul. For now, until next time, guard your mind, nurture your heart, strengthen your soul. Because a meaningful life is not measured by what you accumulate. It's measured by who you became. May God bless you, and I see you in the next video.